This is a 2023 GMC Canyon. GM's third generation of its midsize pickup truck, and one that is moving up in the world, quite literally. What do I mean by that? Every single third generation GMC Canyon no longer has a standard suspension, but a lifted suspension. You now are at least 2 inches higher off the ground than you would have been in a standard suspension last generation GMC Canyon or a standard suspension current generation Chevrolet Colorado. This particular GMC Canyon is an AT4, which is the middle of the lineup. That lineup has been tweaked a little bit though, and I'm not on my usual test route here, and I'm not in my usual weather conditions either. It is a very wet day. I am outside of Asheville, North Carolina as a guest of GMC to try this new third generation Canyon and see how it feels. The base trim of the second generation GMC Canyon is no more. The new base trim is better equipped than it used to be, and the base price follows suit. And I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen right now for you to check out. And GMC has definitely moved up with the Canyon with a new top trim AT4X, which is kind of the mid-size truck version of the GMC Sierra AT4X. It is very off-road capable, and it is very much not cheap. I'll go ahead and put that price up so you can check that out as well. All right, with all that, let me find a brief spot to pull over and show you around and inside this truck in a bit more detail. Okay, I obviously don't want to spend too much time out in the rain, but I did want to give you a quick look at this truck so you can see just how tall it is. Look how much space you have between the tire and the bottom of the wheel well. Look at how much ground clearance you have right here. This is a big and tall truck. Now, every single Canyon is a crew cab with the short bed, and this is now the lowest ride height you can get in this truck. Looking at the front, you see that it has this nice pattern in the grille right here and a couple of tow hooks down low, and they're painted in red to make them easy to find. You do have fog lights right there, as well as several cameras around the exterior of the truck to get a sense of what you're driving over. You do have nice step for the bed and pretty typical truck look back here. The truck bed itself is just over 5 feet long and pretty darn deep considering everything. Also, you do have power right there. All right, that's about as wet as I want to get. Let's go inside. Considering how big these trucks have become, the interior is not that big inside, but you do get a couple of USB ports down here, and you do get an armrest with a couple of cup holders, and you also get under-seat storage if you need it. Ugh, you gotta step up to get in this thing. Once you're inside, you do have a little bit of legroom. It's not bad. The seat bottoms are relatively high, so I have about a 90-degree bend in my knees. It's not too bad, and I do have enough headroom, and I also have a couple cup holders, things like that. So I don't know if I'd want to do a long trip back here, but short trips would be just fine. Let's go to the front. You do have nice contrast in the materials here. The lighter brown with the darker brown. This is nice stitching here. You do get the usual controls on the door, as well as 2-position seat memory right there. There is your trailer brake controller right there to the left of the steering wheel. Oh, and it's only water. Let's pop the hood. There is your 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine, turbocharged of course. We do have a nice big air box right there. Battery is tucked back over there. Windshield washer fluid is right there. That is nice to see that it is longitudinally mounted. This is a rear-wheel drive base pickup truck after all. The center line of the front axle is right here. So most of the engine is behind the center line of the front axle, which is definitely good for weight distribution. And yep, in trucks too, that's important. Okay, back to the inside. Here is a look at the seats you get, you know, decent support. I do think this AT4 logo embossed into the seat is a nice touch. As you can see, my cameras are mounted because I don't have a lot of time. But that's not what I want to show you. I wanted to show you that we do have a head-up display. We do have a digital instrument cluster, and we do have an 11.3-inch center console touchscreen right there. We have lots of controls below that, and a wireless smartphone charging pad right there. Beneath that, we have a very standard looking Prindle. This is for drive modes and whether you want two-wheel drive auto, 4 or 4 high or 4 low. It is an electric parking brake. We do have a couple of cup holders right there to hold an iced tea and more storage down below, and this is removable for nice deep space. Looking up, you do get a light there and a moonroof as well. Lovely. Push button start is right here. Here is what the instrument cluster looks like when it's lit up. And here is the center console touchscreen all lit up. You do get dual zone climate control, ventilated and heated seats, and you do get a heated steering wheel right here as well. So yeah, this is a well-appointed, nice interior with a lot of technology to work with. But one of my favorite tricks is right here. Camera. You have a lot of different cameras to look at on the truck. And in the rain, some of it's hard to see, but even in the rain, it's still nice to have all these different views when you need it. All right, let's talk drive modes real quick. So I mentioned that we do have the options for the four-wheel drive system, but we also have several drive modes. We have normal, off-road, tow haul, terrain, and then back to normal. So yeah, there's a lot of technology in this. There's a lot of different controls in here, and it's a really interesting truck to spend time in. But of course, the most important thing is driving it. Let's get back to the drive. All right, let's dig into the powertrain. And there's not that much to talk about because there is only one powertrain to talk about, one engine anyway. It is a turbocharged 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. That is a very, very healthy number. That is tied to an 8-speed automatic transmission, also the only thing offered, but you can still choose between 2 and 4-wheel drive. Now, this is a mid-sized truck, not a full-size truck, but it is certainly not small. And all Canyons are pretty darn tall now, which is not great for coefficient of drag, which means that even with all the modern tech that this engine does have, fuel economy is actually only so-so. I'll go ahead and put those numbers up on the screen for you to check out. And while fuel economy is indeed important, it's not nearly as much fun as accelerating. Of course I had to test that out. Let me show you that right now. All right, everybody, time for a super quick acceleration test. The GMC Canyon is getting the slight benefit of being downhill. I do have a 4-wheel drive auto. Let's see how it goes. I've already come to a complete stop. I'll give it a bit of brake torque. About 2,000 RPM, off the brake. Yeah. Not bad. Good quick shifts. Ah, nice gearing. Okay, so we got a good 1-to-2 shift and a nice good 2-3 shift, and the gear ratios were in a nice place, so we were pretty much right in the power band when we got to second gear. The launch itself was a little soft. I don't think it liked the brake torquing too much, but it was still good to get a good sense of what this thing is like to accelerate. How does this GMC Canyon ride? Well, pretty darn well. Having as much tire sidewall as we have, having as much suspension travel as we have, having as much ground clearance as we have, it all lends itself to being a nice and comfortable thing. It is a little bit on the bouncy side. Body control isn't the best. But again, for the base level of off-road prowess you get in this truck, that is not at all a surprise. And on top of that, the seats are both comfortable and supportive, so you're not being jostled around too much in the truck. You have a fantastic field of vision because these trucks are so tall, and nothing about this ride is harsh or unpleasant. So this is very, very comfortable. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to drive this on the interstate, but I did actually get a chance to go off-road a little bit. This is a road, it's just not a paved road, and it was a pretty rough and bumpy unpaved road at that. So I did get a chance to see how this feels out there. Let me show you that. I talked about it being elevated, lifted 2 inches off the ground compared to the standard Canyons of the last generation. Well, we are on a dirt road now, so we can test out how this thing feels. Obviously, this isn't true off-roading here. This is just a dirt path. But we do have some pretty gnarly potholes here and stuff like that, and we are moving this truck around right now. And I will say that you can feel that there is a good stiff structure underneath you, and it's absorbing all the bumps and potholes that we are throwing at it very, very easily. Now, it all very much depends on how adventurous you want to get, but clearly this truck can handle a lot more than this. Yes, you can tow with the GMC Canyon. Of course you can tow with the GMC Canyon, and the numbers are pretty darn healthy actually. Depending on which trim you get, you can tow up to 7,700 pounds in this truck. The vast majority of your recreational toys weigh less than 7,700 pounds. So, what do we think of this 2023 GMC Canyon? This is a really interesting truck. The fact that GMC has shifted its entire mid-size truck lineup to be more off-road friendly is really interesting, and that shows just how much momentum and popularity off-roading and overlanding has gained. Now, that means that this truck is not going to be for everyone. You have to climb into it a little bit. It's certainly not the most comfortable thing to get in and out of, especially if you're driving around in the city. On the other hand, you've got a decent amount of luxury in here. You know, the AT4 trim has heated seats, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, a nice big center console touchscreen, and a lot of other technology like that. You also have nice soft touch materials inside the trim. In a lot of ways, it's a pleasant place to be. And it's a pleasant place to be when you want to get way off-road. It's a really interesting choice. And I think GMC might be onto something, that it's a choice a lot of people are going to make. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Doing so helps me out quite a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. Also, if something like this interests you, the AT4X is kind of a mega thing and really takes this whole idea up another level. It's got some super interesting technology in it as well, so that is definitely worth checking out. I also got a chance to learn more about the interior of the AT4X, and that was super interesting to learn the approach of what GMC took to make the interior what they did. And from there, I've reviewed a whole bunch of stuff by now. Something's going to pop up on the screen next to me. Hopefully it's something you're interested in, and if you do watch it, I definitely hope you like it. Okay, goodbye for now.